What if we told you that one of Africa's poorest countries just paid off a massive $479 billion in debt without taking a single dollar from the West? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, believe it, because that country is Burkina Faso. Yes, the same Burkina Faso the world often ignores. The same country the media calls unstable, poor, or dependent. They've just shocked the world by pulling off something no one expected. They paid off their entire national debt, and they didn't beg the IMF, the World Bank, or any Western power for help. Not a dime. Now the real question is, if Burkina Faso can do it, what's stopping the rest of Africa? Before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button right now and join the new Africa Rising movement, where we celebrate Black culture, history, power, and identity like no one else does. Don't forget to like the video and ring the bell, because this is the kind of truth they don't want you to hear. Now back to Burkina Faso. This tiny landlocked country is flipping the script and saying, "We don't need you, West. We've got our people. We've got our pride. We've got our future." In 2024, when Prime Minister Dr. Apollinaire Guillaume de Tambela stood up and announced that Burkina Faso had repaid nearly $5 billion in domestic debt, without any foreign loans, the world stopped to pay attention. No IMF bailout, no World Bank rescue package, no handouts from the usual powers. It was a clear message. We are done playing your game. So how did they do it? They turned inward. Instead of begging for help, Burkina Faso trusted its own people. The government issued bonds to local investors, businesses, banks, and even individuals. And guess what? The people believed. They saw a government serious about change, serious about self-reliance, and they responded with support. At a time when most governments would be scared to ask their citizens for money, especially in a region under attack from insurgents and dealing with security crises, Burkina Faso took a bold step, and it paid off. They showed the world that you don't need foreign loans to manage your finances. What you need is trust, vision, and leadership. The government didn't stop there. They put those funds to good use, investing in infrastructure, energy, and development projects that made a real difference. They didn't just repay the debt, they built a foundation for long-term success. All of this happened while the country was being punished by the West. That's right. Instead of helping during tough times, the European Union and other Western nations froze aid, cut off support, and imposed sanctions after Burkina Faso's military-led government took power in 2022. Rather than offering solidarity, they tried to make the country suffer. They wanted the people to rise up, to overthrow their leaders, to go back to the old ways, the dependent ways. But that didn't happen. Instead of begging for help, Burkina Faso stood tall. They didn't fold. They didn't apologize. They rejected the idea that Africa needs Western approval to survive. They leaned on their people. They leaned on local markets. They leaned on the strength that was already there, waiting to be tapped into. While the West was betting on failure, Burkina Faso was building success. Local investors bought into the government's bonds. Banks, pension funds, and businesses came together to fund development from within. The country even used gold, one of its biggest natural resources, to back up its financial moves. This gave investors confidence. They knew the country had value, real value. And what happened next was something we don't see often. A country under pressure, under threat, under sanctions, thriving. Burkina Faso didn't just survive without the West. They proved something powerful. Africa is not helpless. And Africa does not have to live under anyone's thumb. So again, if Burkina Faso, a small, landlocked nation with limited resources and security challenges, can pull this off, why can't the rest of Africa? The truth is hard to swallow, but it must be said. Many African nations are still stuck in the belief that the West holds the keys to their success. that aid, loans, and foreign approval are necessary for growth. But what Burkina Faso has done is tear that lie apart. They've shown that Africa has the resources, the talent, the brains, and the courage to stand on its own. Countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, with all their wealth and potential, what are they waiting for? Why keep waiting for permission to rise? The West has long benefited from a cycle of African dependence. They give loans, with strings attached. They offer aid, but demand policy changes. And all the while, they extract resources, take profits, and keep African countries paying interest for decades. It's time to break the cycle. Burkina Faso didn't just reject Western aid, they rejected the entire mindset of dependency. They said, "We believe in ourselves." And they backed it up with action. They built a financial strategy that relied on local people. They created investment opportunities that supported national growth. They used the funds to build roads, energy systems, and other infrastructure that would power the next generation. And they did all of this under the threat of sanctions, attacks, and political isolation. It wasn't easy. It was bold. But it worked. And now, the world is watching. African youth are watching. Leaders are watching. And the question is echoing across the continent. If Burkina Faso can do it, what's stopping us? Let this be a wake-up call. African nations do not need to beg. They don't need to wait. They don't need permission to thrive. They just need vision, strategy, and belief in their people. We're not saying the road will be easy. But if one of the most challenged countries in Africa can pull off what the world thought was impossible, then it's time for everyone else to step up. So now we ask you, do you think Africa should continue depending on the West? Or should more countries follow Burkina Faso's path to independence and power? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And if you found this video inspiring, powerful, or just thought-provoking, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss more content from New Africa Rising, where we uncover the truth, celebrate Black excellence, and rewrite the African narrative. This isn't just a story about Burkina Faso. This is a story about Africa's future. Thanks for watching. And remember, the world might doubt Africa, but we never will. Until next time, stay proud, stay powerful, and stay tuned.